Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be all about pregnancy, motherhood, labour and that kind of thing whilst doing my makeup. So this is kind of like my go-to everyday makeup. This may be a bit dramatic for some people, but that's what I'm here for. I also forgot to say, do not mind if you can see horrible painting. We are currently in the middle of redecorating and I've had to find like a corner of the house that doesn't have stuff everywhere. So yeah, sorry about that. I know it doesn't look the greatest. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. And if you do want me to do like an everyday kind of makeup routine, then I'll be happy to do that. Do let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, let's get into the video. Right, so before I get into the questions, I'm just going to go ahead and do my base, and I'm using what I always rave about, which is my vitamin C brightening serum, the Glow and Radiance one. This, honestly, I will never stop going on about this because it's just absolutely amazing, to be honest. Like I said, I literally picked it up from Savers for £2.99 and I'm obsessed with it. As you'll see, I don't actually use a primer. Now, to some people that is absolutely criminal, but I did used to use a primer religiously. Oh, don't mind my baby hairs up here. That is postpartum life. Yeah, I used to use a primer religiously, like would not do my makeup with that one. And then I actually sat there and I thought, does a primer actually even make a difference? And personally for me, it doesn't. And replacing the primer with a serum and a moisturiser, I mean, I used a moisturiser anyway, but now I do my serum first, then I moisturise, and then I put my foundation on. Whereas before I was doing moisturiser, primer, foundation. And yeah, primer for me just didn't really make a difference. And I personally prefer the way my makeup looks now to how it ever had. What am I saying? I personally prefer how my makeup looks now to when, like, before it ever has. I don't actually know what I'm saying. I actually can't get my words out today. Bloody hell, I'm so tired. So yeah, once that's all on, I then go ahead and put the Clinique Moisture Surge moisturiser on. Just take a pea amount of that. So this is actually a sample one, as I got this in a like Christmas set. And I'm obsessed with it and will be going back to buy the full sized. But before using Moisture Surge, I was using Estee Lauder, just the day wear, which I really love too. However, this, I don't know what it is. It's just, oh, it's just lovely. Like, I feel like even though I've got oily skin, that hydration that it gives is just, it's really nice. And it really looks nice with the serum too. I always take it down my neck because I do put foundation on my neck, so I want to make sure that that is hydrated too. So that is my base done. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly look at the questions. If I can open my phone. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there, but apparently now I have eyebrows on and a bit of foundation. So the first question was, what is something that no one told you about postpartum that you wish for new mums to know? So the first thing I wanted to touch on, because there is a few things, was bleeding. So postpartum bleeding, I was not aware. Obviously I was aware that you bled. I mean, I'm not stupid, but I was not aware of the amount of blood, should I say, that you do lose. I mean, it is completely different for everyone. Some people do have it very easy, some people not. I obviously experienced a postpartum hemorrhage, if you did watch my labour and delivery and my get to know me. So I did experience a lot of blood loss. However, it went on for what felt like a lifetime. I'm not even joking. So when you give birth, you start bleeding what is called lochia. Lochia? I think that's what it's called. Sorry if I got that wrong. So that is basically everything that has been in your body for the last 9 months just clearing out. And this can consist of obviously blood and clots. So clots you do need to keep an eye on, because that is another thing I didn't realise was like a warning sign. So clots can be a sign of an infection. They can also be a sign of like retained placenta. So you really do need to keep an eye on the clots. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up my eyebrows. So clots should be no bigger than a 50p coin, and if they are, that is a cause for concern. And do give your labour triage a call. They are happy to help you. Your midwives are there for you even after birth. I called them a few times due to a few issues, and they were absolutely brilliant. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on your postpartum bleeding. Most of the time it's absolutely fine and normal. Other times it's just a case of just getting it double checked over by a healthcare professional. The second thing I wanted to mention was, do not listen to people that say nap when the baby naps. You just don't do it. You have too much adrenaline, honestly, from giving birth, from the whole experience. I mean, you've just birthed your baby. How am I meant to sleep? You're constantly checking if they're breathing. Sienna is 6 months old, and I swear to God, I still do it. So yeah, don't listen to people that say sleep when the baby sleeps, because I can guarantee you they didn't do it either. Just like, obviously get sleep when you can, but don't force yourself. I mean, when Sienna was born, I really didn't sleep for nearing 3-4 days, and my body just collapsed. Like, my body just was like, no, now you need to go to sleep. So do try and sleep when you can, when you feel like it. Don't force yourself, otherwise you will get yourself stressed out, and that is not good for you or the baby. Third thing I wanted to touch on is that baby blues are real, and they are okay to have. If they are very severe, I obviously would suggest talking to your midwife, your health visitor, friends, family, but they are so real, and do not push them to the back of your head. I mean, day 3, now there is actually a thing about day 3 being the worst day, and for me, I feel like I had baby blues maybe within 24 hours of having Sienna. Now, I don't know if it's because it was different circumstances and I had a bit more of a traumatic birth, but I couldn't come to terms, like, Sienna wasn't all mine. Other people were allowed to see her and hold her, and it was just a very, very weird thought for me. I mean, that was kind of my baby blues in itself, and not having her in my belly, it was just a very weird time. But do not ignore those thoughts. If you're feeling like that, then do talk to your partner, your mum, you know, anyone that you can trust, just someone that's supportive, because they can offer advice. But one thing I will say is just take every day as it comes. Be gentle with yourself, and don't feel strange for having these thoughts, because it is so, so normal. Weirdest food you craved, and what was the worst/best thing about being pregnant? So I got that one quite a lot. What was the worst thing, best thing? But my weirdest food craving, okay, so I didn't really have any weird food cravings. In like a whole, eat quite strange food. Like, if I'm hungover, I won't wake up and want something really greasy. I'll want a bowl of peas or something like that. So my food cravings in themselves are quite strange. But the weirdest thing that I found that I craved was, I just craved mustard with quite a lot of things. Like, I remember I just really fancied just like a mustard and cucumber sandwich, no butter, no nothing, just that. I just wanted mustard with everything, and I almost like craved textures, and this is actually a thing. So another thing that I craved when I was pregnant was scents. So I craved the scent of Yankee Candle. I've got it over there. It's Sugar Blossom Yankee Candle, and that is Sienna's scent. Like, that scent will forever remind me of when Sienna was born, when I was pregnant, because that scent I literally craved. I craved the smell of perfumes, like freshness. Very strange, but that is what I craved. I used to work with a girl who, when she was pregnant, craved ash. Like, she literally craved ash. and at the time I smoked, and she actually would ask if she could have the ash off my cigarette. Who was I to say no to a pregnant lady? She does what she wants. But very, very strange. But yeah. And the best thing about being pregnant was definitely the feeling of Sienna in my belly, the ultrasound appointments, just all that exciting, fun stuff. That was so exciting to me. So that definitely was the best thing. And obviously giving birth to her. The worst thing was the symptoms that I experienced. They were not very nice, but you're growing a baby, so your body's going through a lot. So it's a given you're going to get horrible symptoms. But yeah, they really, really knocked me for six. I did touch on it again in previous videos that I experienced a lot of headaches, migraines, sickness, that kind of thing. And they really, really were not pleasant, but we got through there and we're here. And funny you say that, actually. I say about migraines and stuff. Since having Sienna, I still get really bad headaches. I get really bad migraines. I never ever, until having Sienna, experienced headaches and migraines on like a day-to-day basis. I never had them really intense. Like, I would never complain about a headache. Like, not even when I was hungover, I didn't really get them. But since having Sienna, headaches I get quite frequently, maybe like 2-3 times a week, and they can last days. So as well, going back to the first question, like what would I want people to know, like postpartum headaches are a real thing. I am 6 months down the line now, and I have been to the doctors a few times about them, but I've been told they are normal and I need to really work on my posture. That does have a lot to do with headaches and stuff like that, because obviously you've got all the nerves in the back of your neck that can get pinched and tight, and they can cause headaches and migraines. So definitely watch out for your posture. But yeah, pregnancy symptoms was definitely one of the worst things about pregnancy, for sure. Was you scared to give birth? I was absolutely petrified. So I have a mediocre pain threshold. I mean, I've got a few tattoos and they didn't faze me whatsoever. I'm not really scared of needles or anything like that. However, I didn't really think about birth until maybe about 30 weeks. It just wasn't something that I needed to think about there and then. At midwife appointments, my midwife would obviously talk to me about like my birthing plan, but at this point it still seemed so far away that I didn't even need to think about it. So I didn't. And 30 weeks came, and that's obviously like the 10-week countdown. That's quite a big thing. And every day from 30 weeks, I said to Alex, I've got to give birth. Like, I actually have to give birth. And he was like, I know, I feel really sorry for you. And from then on, I was really anxious, and I was watching all these YouTube videos about like people's labour stories and like labour and delivery vlogs. Like, they really helped me. But yes, I was scared, and that's a given. You're pushing a baby out, you hoo-ha. Who wouldn't be scared? And pregnancy actually does come, like pregnancy and delivery comes with so many complications in itself. Like, you just never know how it's going to go. But we have to kind of keep it in our heads that this is such a common thing. Everyone does this. Well, not everyone, but it's a very common thing for women to do, and the staff that look after you are very well trained, so we just have to put all of our trust into them. But yes, to answer that question, I was petrified to give birth. What are you most excited to do with Sienna when we are out of lockdowns? I thought this was such a lovely question, and to take her to the zoo. So Sienna absolutely loves animals. She has seen, she loves animals, she loves dogs. So we have a lot of dogs in our family. My parents have got 2 dogs, and Alex's mum has got a dog as well. And every time she sees them, I'm not even joking you, she screams at them, like full on screeches. I don't know how they don't get scared, but it's with excitement. And yesterday when my friend and I were out on a walk, she saw a Dalmatian, and I'm not even joking, I've never seen that child move her head so quickly. I thought she had whiplash. She so quickly like moved her head to see where this dog was going, and she was screeching at it, and she just couldn't take her eyes off of them. She's so fascinated by animals. So Alex and I are so excited to take her to the zoo, to the aquarium, farms, that kind of stuff. I think it's so good for her to see animals and kind of get used to them, because I didn't actually go to many places like that when I was younger, and I grew up really frightened of animals, and so I really want Sienna to experience that all. And she just loves animals, and Alex loves animals, so absolutely that is our plans. Do you know what, it's actually very hard doing your makeup and talking at the same time, so I'm really sorry if I'm not concentrating. But yeah, I feel like I've done my makeup quite quickly. I'm already on my eyes, and if you just saw the way I just put my eyeshadow like this, don't worry about it. I put it like that so then I can put a transitional shade and buff it out. That's just what works for me, pretty much. You don't want to see the state of this palette. Let's have a look at the next question. What was your early symptoms of pregnancy? I feel like I did touch on this in one of my other videos, but my earliest symptoms of pregnancy was acid reflux. I had real severe acid reflux. I had quite sore boobs, but again, sore boobs can be a sign of your period coming. So again, didn't really think much of it because I had experienced that in the past. And like aversions from things. So like I mentioned, I used to smoke, and as soon as I fell pregnant, I completely went off of the idea of even putting a cigarette in my mouth. I was out on a night out once, and obviously when you're drunk, everyone like chain smokes, and everyone was going out to smokers, and the thought of just actually being out there, I just didn't want to be out there. Alex used to smoke, and every time he smoked, it literally physically used to make me feel ill, and I just couldn't figure out why. It was the strangest thing. And again, I was drinking, and it just wasn't sitting well with me. Like, I just didn't feel like drinking. It was almost like I was hungover, and the thought of drinking was just making me feel really queasy. So those were definitely quite weird early pregnancy symptoms, but I do know a few people that have said that smoking and drinking, like things that they would love doing, they wouldn't, and it's almost like your body's way of saying, look, we don't need that, like almost rejecting it, which is really cool actually. What is the best thing about being a mum? Love this question. So absolutely, the best thing about being a mum is just seeing your little one grow. Sienna is just the best thing that ever happened to me, and I literally, every night when I put her to bed, I always say to her that she's just my angel on earth. I just adore that girl so much. The best thing about being a mum is seeing her grow, watching her character, and you just feel so proud. Like the way that she loves me too. So I don't know if this is gonna sound really weird, but like if I walk out of a room, she will look for me or she'll stir, and like that to me is just like, oh my god, she actually wants me, like someone wants me. So yeah, just the love you have watching your child grow, it's just all incredible. It's nothing you'll ever know until you have a child yourself. Was labour better or worse than you expected? So to be honest, I went into labour with an open mind. I mean, when I actually went in to give birth to Sienna, I didn't know I was giving birth that day. So one second. So to be honest, it wasn't something that I really thought about much. Again, like I said, I didn't really think about labour and like delivery much throughout my pregnancy because it would scare me. But my labour was worse than I expected, just because of the complications that occurred. I mean, I think I actually went in to have Sienna quite naive, watching all these videos on YouTube. Of course I watched like the best ones and, you know, the nice ones. I didn't really watch the horrible ones because I didn't want to scare myself, but I feel like I wasn't prepared. So I think, yeah, I set myself up for that really, but my labour was worse than I expected. However, I don't even care, I would do it 100 times over. I can't wait to have another baby and just be able to go through all of that. Even though I think I might have to have a C-section, that was said. But if I can push to have like a normal delivery, I absolutely will, because the whole experience is just amazing. So yeah, I'll definitely try and push for a normal one, but whether or not I get one, who knows? Did you think you were having a boy or a girl before you found out? They also put in brackets, love your channel. Thank you so much for that. That is really sweet. I love when people like message me saying that they've watched my videos. It makes me so happy. Did you think you're having a boy or girl? So I just always knew Sienna was a girl. Now people are going to say that's bullshit, but when I fell pregnant, I could never imagine myself with a boy. I don't know why. But I just couldn't. And throughout my pregnancy, I just had this instinct she was a girl, and just knew deep down she was a girl. And then the day of our gender reveal, I don't know why, I just woke up and I was like, oh my god, it's a boy. I was, not that I would have been disappointed, but I feel like a mother's instinct, if you get it wrong, you'll question yourself every time you think something. So I definitely knew she was a girl, but then there was a little part of me that was like, what if because I'm thinking I know it's a girl, it actually is a boy? Alex thought it was a boy. All of my family thought it was a boy because of the way I carried. My bump was really low down, so apparently that's kind of how boys carry. But according to like the Chinese gender chart and a lot of other things that I did, it would have been a girl, and it was a girl. So this is such a lovely question. So what things have you learned from your mum that you'll be bringing into Sienna's life? So for those of you who know me personally, you'll know my mum is my bestest friend. She is a young, cool mum, and I just adore her. So Mazzy, big shout out to you. One thing that my mum has always taught me through life is to always be the bigger person, never go to bed on bad terms, and never hold a grudge. And I feel like that is something that everyone should learn throughout their life. Life is too short to hold grudges. Life is too short to, you know, be mad at people, have animosity, and like, what is the point at the end of the day? Say you've had a row with your partner, you're not going to break up over it, so you may as well just be the bigger person and just say sorry. Now, I'm not saying I am this person, because sometimes I can be really stubborn, but it is one thing that my mum has always taught me, to just be the bigger person. That is something that I really want to take into Sienna's life, and, you know, make her aware of life is too bloody short, as we have realised the last year or so. And also, just, she has taught me how to pretty much be a mum. So when Sienna is at this stage in her life, I can't wait to show her everything that I know, and this is all because of my mum. So I absolutely adore my mum. So mum, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. This woman, I'm not even joking, has put up with some right old shenanigans over the years, and she still loves me so dearly. So for that, I am forever thankful. Would you have another baby? Yes, I would absolutely have another baby. As I said in my get to know me, I would really love 2 or 3, because I have always grown up around a busy family, and I love it. I love the chaos, and I really want Sienna to have that family life experience. I think there's just nothing better than having siblings. So yes, I absolutely would have another baby, but I do want to get married first. That is next on the list. So married, and then we're trying for another baby, and I'm really, really excited. What is the most challenging thing about motherhood? So the most challenging thing about motherhood is knowing if you're doing it right. So what I mean by that is, an example, Sienna is 6 months, and when you turn 6 months, you are allowed to start weaning them. However, I have been trying now since Sienna was about 5.5 months, as she is breastfed, and breastfed babies do tend to take a longer time to kind of get used to the idea of food, and it's just not working. Sienna still isn't eating meals or anything like that. So when I see other people giving their baby food at, you know, 4 months, 5.5 months, 6 months, I do sit there and I think, what am I doing so wrong? Another example as well, Sienna still doesn't sleep through the night. But I put lash glue on my lashes and on my lash line. It just makes them stick like cement, so don't mind me whilst I do that. Yeah, Sienna still doesn't sleep through the night. And again, I sit there and I think, what am I doing so wrong? Why is she so unhappy? So the hardest thing about motherhood for me is definitely feeling like I'm not doing it right. Now, there is no way, there is no perfect way of doing motherhood, right? You just have to kind of go with the flow. You know your baby, you know what your baby needs. So yeah, everyone is different, and don't let anything you see on other people's social media affect how you think your parenting is. Like I said, there are so many things that Sienna shouldn't be doing according to other people's babies that she is doing. So yeah. When you found out you were pregnant, did you know you wanted to keep her? So I never ever had a thought in my head that I was getting rid of this baby. Even though Alex and I had only been together for literally 2.5 months, we just knew it was the right thing. Alex and I are just like, I'm just smitten by him. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. And even if, right, say worst case scenario, Alex and I didn't work out, Sienna was made literally with love, and she would have just continued, like, we would have always put her first, blah, 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 blah. Not that there was ever a discussion of Alex and I breaking up, but say worst case scenario, it didn't work out because it was so fresh. It wouldn't have mattered regardless. She still would have been the most important thing to both of us. However, that was not the case. He ended up proposing to me. So now he's stuck with me. But no, I never had a doubt in my mind that I was getting rid of her. She is my miracle baby. For me to fall pregnant was just like, hallelujah. And yeah, she was just the absolute best thing that happened to me. That is not to say that if you have fallen pregnant and it is not the right time, that is not to say that, you know, abortion is something that you should never think about. You know, everyone's circumstances are different, and you just have to do what is right for you. Everyone's circumstances are different. I was just very, very fortunate, the position that I was in. I was in a loving relationship, you know, everything was really in our favour. So yeah, and I'm so lucky. I've got such a supportive partner. He really just blew me away with how he took everything, and he forever blows me away with how he handles everything. That is all the questions for today. Thank you so much to anyone that has asked a question. I really enjoyed filming this, and this is just kind of like my everyday makeup that I would go to. I do usually put a lip liner on and some lipstick, however they are not in my makeup bag. So yeah, this is my everyday makeup look. Don't actually have anything planned today whatsoever, so I'm just getting ready for nothing, because we all are at the moment. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and I will see you in my next one. See you later, guys.